Steve, in the unique position of head of sales at Audi, you've clearly got a very good view of what's happening out there in the marketplace. How are dealers coping with this third lockdown?
Yeah, I think all of the lockdowns have been very different in the way that they look and feel. This third lockdown again takes on its own characteristics. So actually, from a network point of view, we're facing into this really positively. And you can see that from a much greater degree of resource being kept, people being kept in the network, because we know there are customers that are interested in talking to us at the moment. So therefore, we've got to have the people and the resources available to meet that interest. And I think also, collectively with the network, there's been a lot of changes in processes through the learnings over the last 12 months to be able to manage that demand in the right way. So what do customers need online? What level of interaction can they have, either face-to-face but digitally, or on the phone to meet that demand as well. So I think that's clearly critically important. We are seeing a reduction in demand, and I think that's inevitable at the moment. But in a positive light, we've also got lots of customers that we're talking to, and I think once we're out of the restrictions, fingers crossed, that happens shortly, then I think we'll be in a great position to take advantage of that demand. And those relationships that we've been having with consumers over the last few weeks will come to fruition once showrooms are open again in the near term.
And do you think the changes that dealers have made to their businesses over the last few months will continue going into the future? I mean, do you think the online click and collect world is something that's here to stay and that customers want?
Yeah, we've been talking a lot as an industry about digitalization. It's been a buzzword at every conference and set piece communication activity that everybody's been having over the last couple of years. But frankly, we haven't seen the implementation and the realization of what that actually means as much as we have over the last 9 months. And I think that step change in people's acceptance of a shift to an omni-channel environment, where we have to have the digital infrastructure to meet customers' needs, as well as the physical infrastructure to serve them as well, I think is here to stay. I talked to a lot of network partners that have made that leap and have done so really quickly and are already benefiting from that. And they're benefiting from it not just in the current lockdown, but in the periods that we have had over the last year where showrooms have been able to be open. So yeah, that's absolutely here to stay. Not just from our perspective, but also, as I said before, from a consumer point of view as well, where fundamentally they're using digital infrastructure to be able to do far more of their buying process than they ever have before.
Not an easy time to plan at the moment, and I'm sure it's incredibly difficult for you guys at the manufacturer level. What are you thinking is going to happen towards as this year pans out and these lockdowns ease? And what do you think is going to happen to new car volumes?
Yeah, I think it's really hard to call at the moment on the basis of not really knowing what's going to happen in March. So clearly we've had government communication in England anyway that talks about schools going back potentially on the 8th. I think it really depends how much of March is impacted by showrooms being closed and the current restrictions are in. I think if the public health crisis gets to a point where showrooms are open again in March, then there's a great opportunity to recover the lost volume in the calendar year. I think if it goes on past that, then we face some difficulty versus our original plans. But there's lots of reasons to be optimistic around what the future holds once we do get through this health crisis that we're in.
Do you think there's pent-up demand out there?
Yeah, so most of the business that we write is on a contract basis. So those customers ultimately are facing a decision that they need to make at the end of that contract. That gives us a great ability to talk with those customers and find the right solution for them. And hopefully that solution means that we can move them into another vehicle at the end of their contract and keep that level of customer loyalty, customer experience, and ultimately the volume that follows from there. So yeah, lots of reasons to be optimistic. We're also seeing low levels of personal debt, higher levels of savings. So again, assuming that the overall macroeconomic impact isn't too severe, then we've got a great opportunity for some, use another buzzword, but revenge spending effectively that might come out of that as well. And from a used car point of view, we're also seeing significantly increased demand for older used cars in the marketplace. And again, that represents another great opportunity.
Yeah, certainly going to be an interesting year as it pans out. And just lastly, on a slightly different topic, what are your thoughts on whether dealers should be offering test drives right now? There seems to be a bit of confusion out there in the marketplace about whether dealers should be doing it. Do you think they should be?
So we're very clear that we need to adhere very strictly to the government guidelines. At the moment, that communicates that test drives aren't available from our perspective. Clearly, it's important that our network partners and the professional organisations in their own right, that they make their own decision based on that. But critical that we absolutely adhere to government guidelines 100%.